Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the East Chicago Common Council regular meeting for Monday, March 22nd. Can we please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. James, would you lead us in opening prayer? Thank you.
Heavenly Father, we come before your presence, Lord, and we ask you, Lord, that you help us today, Lord, that you are in this meeting. You help us, Lord. I ask for all those, Lord, that are going through needs in this moment in our city, Lord. Those who have gone through and have passed through with situations with the COVID, for our police officers that are still recovering, and all those that are suffering in this moment. I ask you to bless them as well. I ask that you are present in this meeting and that all the words of our mouth may be acceptable to you. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Roll call.
First District Councilwoman Monica Gonzalez.
Here.
Second District Councilman Benny Francisci.
Present.
Third District Councilman Terrence Hill.
Here.
Fourth District Councilwoman Stacy Winfield.
Present.
Fifth District Councilman Robert Garcia.
Present.
Robert Garcia.
Present.
Sixth District Councilwoman Gilda Orange.
Present.
Councilman at Large Dwayne Rancifer.
Present.
Councilman at Large Kenneth Monroe.
Present.
Council President Emiliano Perez.
Present. Minutes.
Yes, from the regular meeting Monday, February 8th, 2021, public hearing and regular meeting Monday, it should be February 22nd and not March 22nd, 2021. Executive session Tuesday, March 9th, 2021, and special meeting Tuesday, March 9th, 2021.
So move with the changes, Mr. President.
We have a motion for the changes for Councilman Garcia. Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Monroe. Any questions on the motion? Roll call.
Gonzalez,
Yes.
Francisci,
Yes.
Hill,
Yes.
Winfield,
Yes.
Garcia,
Yes.
Orange,
Yes.
Rancifer,
Yes.
Monroe,
Yes.
Perez.
Yes. Do I get a second for acceptance of the minutes? Got a motion by Councilman Garcia to accept the minutes as read. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilwoman Gonzalez. Questions on the motion? Roll call.
Gonzalez,
Yes.
Francisci,
Yes.
Hill,
Yes.
Winfield,
Yes.
Garcia,
Yes.
Orange,
Yes.
Rancifer,
Yes.
Monroe,
Yes.
Perez.
Yes. Communications from the mayor.
Yes, there's a memorandum to the council dated March 22nd, 2021 regarding American Rescue Plan Act funding. The city, in anticipation receiving direct assistance under the American Rescue Plan Act, AIM, estimate that the city's distribution will be $33.3 million. It appears that our allocation will be sent to the state, which in turn must distribute the money no later than 120 days after receiving the money for distribution. A guidance memorandum from the Indiana State Board of Accounts states that in order to receive the allocation, the city must adopt an ordinance establishing a local ARP fund and referencing a plan that will provide the details for the use of these funds. Funds received by the city under the act are required to be spent by year-end 2024. It is my desire and intention to build a consensus with the council for the use of this remarkable opportunity to not only deal with the financial impact of the health emergency, but to invest in our aging infrastructure. In the next several days, I will be inviting each council person to meet and discuss his or her vision for the most effective and beneficial use of this money. Anthony Copeland, Mayor.
Communication from department heads.
Yes. Accounts payable warrant 030221CC, 031121CC, 032221CC, and 032321CC.
So moved, Mr. President.
Moved by Councilman Garcia. Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Hill. Any questions on the motion? Hearing none, roll call.
Gonzalez,
Yes.
Franciski,
Yes.
Hill,
Yes.
Winfield,
Yes.
Garcia,
Yes.
Orange,
Yes.
Ransifer,
Yes.
Monroe,
Yes.
Perez.
Yes.
Payroll warrant 030521, payroll warrant biweekly 030521.
So moved, Mr. President.
Payroll warrant moved by Councilman Garcia. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Hill. Any questions on the motion? Roll call.
Gonzalez,
Yes.
Franciski,
Yes.
Hill,
Yes.
Winfield,
Yes.
Garcia,
Yes.
Orange,
Yes.
Ransifer,
Yes.
Monroe,
Yes.
Perez.
Yes.
Hector Rosario, Chief of Police, Police Department.
Chief, welcome.
Good evening, Council.
Good evening, Chief.
Just here to talk about a couple things that we're going to be requesting. The first is the vehicle maintenance plan through Bozak Ford for our police vehicles. 60,000 of that will be for the premium maintenance plan. 100,000 will be for the vehicle repairs that we're anticipating for, because I believe they're only taking 2017 and higher from us as far as our vehicles. Everything under that wouldn't fall into that plan. Secondly, it would be the tasers. We're looking to upgrade and purchase 30 tasers. Some of ours are failing at this point. We have got new officers that haven't been equipped with a taser yet, and we want to get everyone on the street to make sure they do have that less lethal on them at all times. And lastly, the $5,000 for drug buy fund money that we use for paying our confidential informants to go out there and do our buys and so on and so forth for the drug unit, we're going to be requesting that as well. If anyone has any questions, I'll be here.
Anybody have any question for the chief? Councilman Garcia.
Yes. I see you got the premium maintenance plan. What's that plan?
I do not know the specifics of it. Basically, Public Works is the one that's, piloting this whole program, basically.
That's the same thing about the police vehicle repairs too?
Correct.
Yeah, okay. And how many tasers are we getting?
30. Just to kind of cover what we're missing and what's broken at this point.
I had a question. So they're not taking any vehicles younger than 2017? Does next year, then does it become 2018 and then the 17s fall off, or do you know?
Again, I don't know the specifics of the program. Jalen Robinson would probably be the one you would want to speak to on that.
Thank you very much, Chief. Anything else for the chief? Thank you.
Thank you.
Ed Santin from the Water Department. Weena Guzman for the Water Department.
Thank you. Sorry, Ed is out of the office this week on vacation, so I am representing the Water Department. Weena Guzman, Water Department for the record. Good evening, council members and council president. The Department of Waterworks is seeking additional funding from other city sources to cover expenses in order to continue maintaining our distribution system, which maintenance is critical for our operations, and to continue to provide safe and quality water supply to our customers and residents. The additional appropriation under ordinance number, I believe it's 21-0019, presented before you today, relates to the Department of Waterworks request for, and if I'm going to reiterate, I think I mentioned this before, but these are just certain items. There's 5 total inventory. This would be for the purchase of larger sized insert valves from 20 to 36 inches, main and pipeline inventory to provide continuation of service in an emergency situation, leak repair program, repair leaks anticipated to be identified under the 2020 and 2021 leaks detection program currently taking place to reduce loss and conserve water resource. Valve assessment and exercising program. This includes mapping and identifying valve asset locations, emphasizing whether operational, accessible, and/or buried, so they can be easily assessed quickly and closed properly when need arises to isolate a problem area. 4506 Railroad Avenue. This is for the final repairs to the city's 24-inch water main in close proximity of the CSX Railway right off of Euclid. Vehicles, as far as vehicles, we are in much need of 2 service trucks and 1 dump truck to meet the needs of the department and to assist with accomplishing staff's responsibilities and duties efficiently and as required. This would allow staff to have equipment and necessary items readily available on job sites. Our fleet is old and in constant need of repair, and the new vehicles will replace the older vehicles which are not basically equipped for the water department. The estimated cost is approximately $1.5 million, as these are important and very critical projects and equipment items relating to the maintenance of the city's distribution system. And the Water Department, we respectfully request that this council consider and pass the ordinance presented. Thank you. If you have any questions.
Thank you. Do we have any questions? Councilman Garcia.
Yes,
Hi.
Ms. Guzman, I
Yes.
see you got maintenance on 364 hydrants. Any replacements on those?
We are currently replacing hydrants throughout the city. I believe we replaced approximately 20 hydrants from last year to the present, and we continue to do that.
On our documentation here, there's no documentation I see about vehicles. It's just mostly about the hydrants, the valve assessment, and cutoffs.
You know what, they are, I don't have, normally we go through, I believe, Public Works, Jalen, to obtain the vehicle information, but I do not have that, so, because obviously we don't have the funding yet for that. But as far as the items that you're looking at, is that, I think you're looking at the wrong one. It should say inventory, leak repair program, valve assessment exercising program, 4506 Railroad, and vehicles. Is that what you have?
No, it's different. How about the boxes? Is that the boxes in the ground, or?
Well, we're not, that's a different, that's probably our second request, but right now, we're not asking for that. We're just asking for the A through E items, which I just discussed. I can give you a copy of this if you like. You may have it already.
I have it.
Yeah, I didn't have D on my papers.
Can we move on? Any other questions for Ms. Weena Guzman? Hearing none, thank you, Weena, we appreciate you.
Thank you.
Fire Chief Anthony Cerna.
He's actually not coming tonight.
Thank you very much. Vanessa Hernandez Orange.
Good evening, council. Prior to asking for approval of ordinance 210021, I wanted to give an update to the council of the Easter extravaganza event that we're hosting on March 27th at the Park Department for our community. That's going to happen between 12 and 3 p.m. While council passed the ordinance 21004 on March 8th, 2021, as of today, funds are still not in our accounts. This is because funds have to have approval through Gateway, and that is also a process. It has taken so far at least 6 weeks for funding to be approved. Regardless of funding, we've had to find a way to give our children in our community a happy Easter. I would like to thank Mayor Anthony Copeland, Park and Recreation staff, and community partners for donating to our Easter extravaganza. This event would not have been possible if it was not for them. Before you is ordinance 210021. I'm asking for approval from the council. At the last meeting, President Perez stated that we do not have to go into detail because you have items before you. So for time's sake, I will not go over all items. If there are any questions, I could definitely answer them.
Councilwoman Gonzalez.
On the line items you did submit, I think there's something missing from the very first page when we got the.
Oh, yeah, it's in the back. If you print it out, it would have been in the back, the total amount.
No, they didn't, no. It's not here. What is, I just want to know what it was, the number one. It starts with number 2, is what I'm saying.
Can I?
No, I didn't get that. Oh, it's for the code. Is that the? I thought that was in the last one. Okay, that's fine. And then I have another question. I know you reached out to some of the, I guess some community organizations. I was wondering if you reached out to any of the council members to donate any of the baskets.
I did.
You did?
Yes.
I didn't receive anything.
I did not reach out to everyone. You're correct.
Okay, I was just wondering.
Any other question?
I just have one.
Yes.
I see here, number 4, bathroom updates for Washington Park. If you can add the bathroom update for Riley Park and have someone take a look at that little bathroom outside, I think it needs a little maintaining. I appreciate that.
Okay, I know that's one of the ones that have been updated. The most recent update to bathrooms was Riley Park, but I'll definitely talk to the powers that be.
Thank you.
Councilman Garcia.
Ms. Orange, I see.
Hernandez Orange, sorry.
This is Orange. I see coaches for summer programs. What coaches for what summer programs?
So this year, we're going to do something different for our summer programs. What's going to happen is we're not going to open up all of our community centers because we're trying to avoid the close contact from the children. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to actually have about 8 weeks of programs. So I am working with the school city and asking those coaches to start back having a week worth of some type of program. So previously, when I used to work for Parks and Recreation in 2001, that's how the program went. You had those coaches come in and actually do the camp so that we could have the feeder system going to make sure to have kids stay in the school system, as well as people can enjoy what the school city has. We are not sure in regards to the funding for, previously it was funded through the CDBG grants. Because we're not sure if we're going to be able to get the funds, I had to move forward on my own with our department to make sure we're able to pay for them and also to entice people to want to be able to coach. So.
Are you thinking about utilizing some of the outdoor courts? Because I see, I think it's good to utilize some of those. There's a lot of participation out there.
Everything's going to be outdoors. We will not have anything indoors. Right now, the only thing that might happen would be the swimming, just because it's probably easier for us to do swimming at Central High School, and we have an MOU set, so I'm assuming that it will be okay. But other than that, We're going to do 2 sessions, one in the morning, one in the evening, so we can make sure to have enough social distance. And again, we're asking the schools because we want their coaching staff to come. So usually coaching staffs have at least 1 to 3 coaches. So at least you're able to have many groups around. But yes, we wanted just whatever we can to do to COVID. We had to make sure we do something this summer.
I agree with you. Also, as far as the pools, what's this, what's going to be done with the pools under COVID?
We will not be opening pools this summer, simply because of the fact that we know there will be multiple people trying to come to our pools. We also have a significant amount of work that has to be done, and we have to find the funding for it at this point. So we have to really look into the pools, and unfortunately, just because of COVID, from our director, Ms. Burns, she also agreed that she would prefer to not have that open because of the close proximity of people. Even if you capped numbers, you still wouldn't, people are still going to be running around, no mask, so it's difficult.
Thank you. That's all, Mr. President.
Anyone else have something for Ms. Hernandez Orange? Thank you, Ms. Hernandez Orange.
Thank
Mr.
you.
Frank Rivera.
Good evening, Council President, Council members.
Good evening.
Just like the rest of my peers, I'm just going to go through the process of just giving a little bit of information in terms of the appropriation that we're asking for in terms of the Department of Redevelopment. I can say that we're starting to do some down payment assistance now. We started just this Friday. So thank you for the 004 one, because that's what helped us out. With this one, I could do more. And I will be coming back again for the COVID, CDBG, home, and I think those are the 3 programs right now that I'm going to come back with another ordinance to ask for additional dollars. Now, on that one, I can't do itemization, Stephen. I can't do itemizations on rehabs because of the way the program works. So it's just going to be a...
Excuse me, Frank, point of order. You are talking to the council, not to Stephen. Thank
All
you.
right. Well, I just mentioned it to Stephen because of the fact that, he didn't mention the last time. So to the council, I'm going to be asking for additional dollars for CDBG, home, and the COVID-19 CARES Act. So then that way I can progress forward in expending some of that money. And I won't be able to itemize any of those items because of the way the programs work. So I'm just going to be a clump amount of money in each category. That'll be for the next ordinance. That's it. Thank you.
Anybody have any questions? Councilman Garcia.
Mr. President, Mr. Rivera?
Yeah.
I see with Fitzsimmons Building Utilities, that's not 1 month, is it?
Fitzsimmons,
You got, Fitzsimmons Building Utilities, got $6,000 for electric, $7,500 for gas, $6,000 for water.
no, that's not in 1 month. That's probably about 2 or 3 months, something like that.
Can you provide that to me, please?
Yeah, we can provide that to you.
That's all, Mr. President.
Any, Councilwoman Orange.
Yes.
Did
I'm sorry.
anybody wind up losing their funding to be able to get a house or to get the down payment assistance?
Yes. There was one person who, by the time we asked and let them know about the dollars being available, that person didn't want to go through the process because that person felt that he was being picked on, especially with the inspection report. And I treat everybody in the same way with the inspection report. The inspection report obligates the seller to make sure that they have a nice, decent home with all the repairs they need to do. So this person didn't want to go through the program, and all they needed was $315 more in order for them to repair the items that were there. So the person didn't go through it. That's the only person I got so far.
But it wasn't because of zero out funds?
It was because of the zero-out funds.
Councilman Garcia.
Which one is it, Frank? Is it the zero-out funds or the inspection that you just mentioned?
Both. It's a zero-out fund, the inspection, and everything else that accumulates in terms of getting all the paperwork in time. Didn't have all the paperwork in time. As a matter of fact, in the first meeting, I was going to present the materials that say, but I didn't want this individual's name to come out. That person didn't have hardly anything at all. They just wanted the money right there and then. It doesn't work that way.
Oh, Mr. President, it just seems like they that individual didn't have that paperwork done, but they want to blame this council for.
No, it's a combination of all that, Mr. Garcia. Combination of everything. It started with the zeroing out, because they had the money before the zero out. When the zero out came out, we couldn't give them anything. We weren't going to usurp the council.
So was that inspection ordered after the zeroing out?
Nope.
So if it was ordered before, how could they have had the money?
No, the money was there way before then.
No, I understand that, but how could they have been eligible to receive it if they had a bad report?
No, it's called pre-qualification. They're pre-qualified until all the paperwork is turned in.
That's correct, but pre-qualifying doesn't mean that they had it. It just
Exactly.
means that up to that point,
Right, but
they had still pending other things to do.
exactly.
Okay. Councilman Hill, did you have a question?
Yes, I was about to Fitzsimmons. I noticed we have, what's that, Urban Enterprise in there occupying that
Yeah,
space? Anybody else? Any
No,
tenants?
not yet.
Is it ready for
Yeah,
tenants to go in?
it's not, the other side is not ready yet. We're in the process of making that happen. We're just waiting for more dollars to come through the process here with you guys.
Thank you.
Councilman Garcia.
This, Councilman Hill just brought up an issue that with the urban enterprise zoning, are they paying any bills?
Yes, they're paying their own bills, but then at the same time, because of the negotiation that went on, we're helping to pay for those until all of the condos are sold. Once the condos are sold, we remove ourselves from the whole entire process.
Anybody else have anything from Mr. Rivera? Thank you, Mr. Rivera.
Thank you very much, Council.
Mr. Renee Sid.
Good evening, Council President. Good evening, board members, Council. I'm here to ask for appropriation of funds for a few items here. We got a few projects in the works. I'm asking for Highland Glass for $290 to, well, it's coming from repair and maintenance. Replace glass door at police station. Performance Auto, we're asking for $10,000 coming from vehicle repair and maintenance to increase building department PO. Spectrum, we're asking for $6,100 coming out of other services and charges to remove, replace, and prep for soil for landscaping. This is like in front of the parks, the V's under the name of the park. You know how the V boxes are. Okay, to get that prepped up, looking nice. I'm asking for, from Great Lakes Landscaping, $4,800 contractual services. This is the Cypress Garden maintenance. This is the wetland that's in Washington Park. You know where those chains are at? Just for upkeep and maintenance there. Reese Riley, we're asking for $10,000 for his out of contractual services. This is for hot and cold patch for the potholes. And Altifer, I'm asking for $10,000 for emergency for generator repairs coming from contractual services. These are for all the generators that are in the buildings, the fire department, the police station, our facility of Public Works. As of grand total for all of this is $41,190. And that's all I have for this evening. Does anybody have any questions of anything?
Mr. Garcia.
Mr. President, yeah, earlier, Mr. Sid, police chief said that some of this contracting with Bozak was Public Works. Do you have any information on this?
That's a brand-new program. They're putting it together. I don't have quite all the details yet
That's no problem.
to speak on it.
For our next meeting.
Yeah.
Before our next meeting, if we could have that
Yeah.
premium maintenance plan, and also that other one about the repairs.
Yeah,
If we could have that information prior to our next meeting, I appreciate it.
okay.
And also Canal Street, million potholes. I know you guys try to patch it up.
Yep.
Are you guys going to continue to try to patch it up? And I know it needs to be repaved, but that's been a fight through the years trying to get that repaved.
We're at Councilman.
Canal.
Canal. Yeah, that's a heavy-duty truck route there, and it's constantly, it's a battle with the potholes there. Every summer, every year, after every winter, it's the same thing, but
It's never been repaved, so I think
well,
that's,
it was, but it was been a while already, so it's a lot of wear and tear there. And we try to keep up with it because that is an emergency route
correct.
going to the mills there for the ambulance and
It's been a long.
public safety. Yeah, yeah.
You could take a look at that again, please.
Yeah, sure, for sure.
Any other questions for Mr. Sid? Hearing none, thank you very much, Mr. Sid. Ms.
Thank you,
Carla
Counsel.
Morgan?
Good evening, everyone. Carla Morgan, Corporation Counsel. Is it okay that I take off my
Sure.
mask for here? I'm here just to welcome Attorney Mendel and wish him luck. You all, and I'm sure he knows, as Corporation Counsel, I'm the head of the Department of Law. I'm here, the city code, state law both say the Corporation Counsel manages the legal affairs of the city and provides advice to all the different factions of the city. Joe Allegrady, who's on Zoom, city attorney and advisor to the mayor, and we just both extend our welcome. Look forward to working with them and continuing to work with you all to just properly advise the city. So thank you. Any questions or anything for me?
Thank you very much. That was very nice of you. Does anyone have any questions for Ms. Morgan? Mr. Dalton.
President, would this be a time to ask about the public hearing for the ordinances that are not coming up this evening? The ordinances that were passed in the last meeting,
Carla, would you have any information on that?
just so you knew what the status was.
My understanding and belief is that all of the public hearings will be scheduled for just before your next meeting. That would include the ones that were passed at your previous meeting and the ones that are under consideration this evening. And, okay.
Thank you very much. Okay, any committee reports? Vivian, any committee reports?
No.
Any board reports? Do you have any board reports?
I don't have anything.
I thought you had some correspondence on the people.
I do, I'm sorry. For the letter of intent and resumes from, there were 3 applicants. Ryan Lomax, Cesar Perez, and Zoraida Mojica. And I sent the letter of intent and resumes to each council member.
Thank you very much, so that everyone get a chance to review them. Yes, sir, Councilman Garcia.
Right time to make a motion.
You can make a motion if you have a name you'd like to submit.
Make a motion for Cesar Perez to be on that board.
We have a motion for Cesar Perez to be on the board. Do we have a second?
I have second.
Second, Monica Guzman. Gonzalez. Ms. Orange, you have a question?
I have a question. Now, all the other boards that we have done, we've done in secret, which we shouldn't be doing, but we voted by sending it to Alita, and now we're voting out in the open.
Yes, we're going to vote out in the open, at least while I'm here. I didn't make the rules when I wasn't here. I'm here, and I know all the concerns about voting in secret. I'm not even going to get into how we got to that, but today, yeah, we'll vote in the open.
From now on, that's all the,
Yes, as long as I'm president of this council, yes.
Mr. President?
I was advised, by the way, from our attorney that it is a government action and it has to be voted in public. Yes, Councilwoman Orange.
yes, and that's what I had said in the very first beginning. And even to when Vanessa wanted to get the information, she could not get the information. The last attorney, and this is not anything with Attorney Mendel, couldn't get the information, but you guys upheld that. And I just think, at some point, if it's wrong for one person, it's wrong for the other. I have no problem with voting in the open, because if I'm for you, I'm for you. If I'm not, I'm not. It doesn't make me any difference. But like I said, nobody objects to anything until it's right for them, and now it's okay that we're doing it in the open. But you were president at that time, when we voted in
Councilman Hill.
Yeah, this is a shocker to me because like you say, last time everything was done by calling in, and now today we're doing it out loud. I think if we were gonna make that change, we should have been notified that from now on, we're gonna be voting for, whatever we're doing for this. What is it?
zoning.
Zoning or whomever, you should have told us, now from now on, we're gonna be voting for these individuals out loud instead of calling in to Miss Vivian or to Miss Chua. That's all I'm saying, because now it's just, all of a sudden, okay, now we're gonna vote out loud. But whereas before, we couldn't. Like I said, you were the president.
I didn't,
I understand.
hold on one second, because you're saying I was president. I was president, you're right. That was the first meeting I was president in. The votes had already been casted, okay? So I was president to announce it, but the votes had already been casted. Second of all, we're going to keep going there. It was Ms. Orange that had made the motions to send this stuff to Vivian and call votes in and stuff like that. We had the minutes, Ms. Orange. So the point is, you created the system. I'm just trying to fix it and go public, and now that's not good either. I don't.
I'm not trying to argue, I'm just saying you should have been
Well, you want it public. We're doing public. Motion on the floor. Any other questions on this motion?
No more. So from now on, all board appointments will be open.
For the third time, yes.
Yeah, okay. Third time.
Mr. President,
Yes, Ms. Winfield.
I just wanted to say, I didn't know we were voting on this today. I just got this email
Yeah, I
today,
just
so
got
I
it
didn't
too.
know we were voting on this today.
Well, there's a motion on the floor and a second, so there's not much I can do about that.
Right, I was just saying.
No other questions? Roll call.
Gonzalez,
Yes.
Francisci,
Yes.
Hill,
Yes.
Winfield,
Yes.
Garcia,
Yes.
Orange,
Abstain.
Orange,
Abstain.
Ransifer,
Yes.
Monroe,
Yes.
Perez.
Yes. Any ordinances on first reading?
Yes. Ordinance 21-0018, sponsor Mayor Anthony Copeland. Additional appropriation for ECPD Police Federal Forfeiture Fund 0278.
So move, Mr. President, on first reading.
Moved by Councilman Garcia. Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Ms. Gonzalez. Any questions on the motion? Hearing none, roll call.
Gonzalez,
Yes.
Francisci,
Yes.
Hill,
Yes.
Winfield,
Yes.
Garcia,
Yes. Yes.
Garcia,
Say it again.
Yes.
Orange,
Yes.
Ransifer,
Yes.
Monroe,
Yes.
Perez.
Yes.
Ordinance 21-0019, sponsored Mayor Anthony Copeland. Additional appropriation ordinance for Department of Waterworks.
So move on first reading, Mr. President.
Moved by Councilman Garcia. Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Francisci. Questions on the motion? Ms. Orange.
I have a question on the motion, but I would like for for Councilman Garcia to put on his mask, please.
Okay, Mr. Garcia, thank you.
Mr. President.
Did you have a question on the motion? Yes, Mr. Hill?
Now, these motions, can we do these on the first and second reading? All at one time, or we have to go through?
Motion was on first reading.
I'll come up with the next.
You make a motion.
Gotcha.
Motion to amend.
Roll call.
Wait a minute, somebody.
Gonzalez,
Yes.
Franciski,
Yes.
Hill,
Yes.
Winfield,
Yes.
Garcia,
Yes.
Orange,
Yes.
Rancifer,
Yes.
Monroe,
Yes.
Perez.
Yes.
Ordinance 21-0020, sponsored Mayor Anthony Copeland, additional appropriation ordinance for ECFD Fire Department.
I'd like to make a motion to read it on the first and second reading.
We have a motion to read it on first and second reading by Councilman Hill. Do I got a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilwoman Orange. Questions on the motion? Hearing none, roll call.
Gonzalez,
Yes.
Franciski,
Yes.
Hill,
Yes.
Winfield,
Yes.
Garcia,
Yes.
Orange,
Yes.
Rancifer,
Yes.
Monroe,
Yes.
Perez.
Yes.
Ordinance 21-0021, sponsored Mayor Anthony Copeland, additional appropriation ordinance for the Department of Parks and Recreation.
So move on first reading, Mr. President.
Got a motion to move on first reading by Councilman Garcia. Do I got a second?
Second.
I'm sorry, there were two at a time. Who was?
Second.
I got a second by Councilman Monroe. Questions on the motion? Hearing none, roll call.
Gonzalez,
Yes.
Gonzalez,
Yes.
Franciski,
Yes.
Hill,
Yes.
Winfield,
Yes.
Garcia,
Yes.
Garcia,
Yes.
Orange,
Yes.
Rancifer,
Yes.
Monroe,
Yes.
Perez.
Yes.
Ordinance 21-0022, sponsored Mayor Anthony Copeland, additional appropriation ordinance for the Department of Redevelopment.
So move
So
on
move
first
on the first
reading.
and second reading, please.
I got a clarification. You said 2-2 again. That's the one we did last. Is it not?
No, we just did Parks and Recreation.
Okay, 2-1. Okay, on first. So we have a motion on first and second reading by Councilman Hill. Do I got a second?
Second.
Second by Councilwoman Orange. Questions on the motion? Hearing none, roll call.
Gonzalez,
Yes.
Franciski,
Yes.
Hill,
Yes.
Winfield,
Yes.
Garcia,
Yes.
Orange,
Yes.
Rancifer,
Yes.
Monroe,
Yes.
Perez.
Yes.
Ordinance 21-0023, sponsored Mayor Anthony Copeland, additional appropriation ordinance for the Department of Public Works.
So moved on first and second reading.
Got a motion by Councilwoman Orange to be heard on first and second reading. Do I have a second?
Second, Mr. President.
Seconded by Councilman Garcia. Questions on the motion? Hearing none, roll call.
Gonzalez,
Yes.
Franciski,
Yes.
Hill,
Yes.
Winfield,
Yes.
Garcia,
Yes.
Orange,
Yes.
Rancifer,
Yes.
Monroe,
Yes.
Perez.
Yes.
Ordinance 21-0024, sponsored Mayor Anthony Copeland, additional appropriation ordinance for the police department.
So move on first
So
reading, Mr.
moved.
President.
We got a motion by Councilman Garcia to be heard on first reading.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Rancifer. Questions on the motion? Hearing none, roll call.
Gonzalez,
No.
Gonzalez,
No.
okay. Franciski,
Yes.
Hill,
Yes.
Winfield,
Yes.
Garcia,
Yes.
Garcia,
Yes.
I can't hear him.
He said yes.
Okay, thank you. Orange,
Yes.
Ransford,
Yes.
Monroe,
Yes.
Perez.
Yes. Ordinances on second reading.
No.
Ordinances on third reading.
No, but there's a consideration of ordinance 21-0005 vetoed by the mayor.
Mr. President, I so move on ordinance 21-0005 to override the veto.
I got a motion to override the veto by Councilman Garcia. Do I? Second by Councilman Monroe. Any questions on the motion? Okay.
It was signed, it was not vetoed.
Vivian has no signed copy, so we have no signed copies.
It was not vetoed, it was signed.
Well, we don't have a signed copy. We have to.
Receive that. I didn't receive the signed copies back when I got the other ones.
You did or did not?
I did not.
Okay. Well, I can assure you it's approved, so you can proceed how you like, but it was not vetoed.
Yeah, I think we proceed with the vote to override the veto just to be safe. If it's signed, it's mute. Any other questions on the motion? Councilwoman Orange.
I have a question for the attorney. So if it was signed, then what does this do for this override of veto?
Well, I think if it was signed, the override would be basically void, but you get to the same results anyways.
Hey, Mr. President, can you have him speak up, please? I cannot hear him.
Mr. Mendel, can you speak up, please?
I just said that if it was in fact signed, the overriding of the veto would essentially be null and void. Now, with that said, I don't think there's any harm doing so. Because you get to the same result either way. Does that answer the question? Thank you.
Any other questions for Mr. Mendel? Thank you, Mr. Mendel. Any other questions on the motion? Roll call.
Gonzalez,
Yes.
Franciski,
Yes.
Hill,
Abstain.
Winfield,
Yes.
Garcia,
Yes.
Orange,
Yes.
Ransford,
Yes.
Monroe,
Yes.
Perez.
Yes. Resolutions?
There are no resolution, but there's a consideration of resolution 21-0002 vetoed by mayor.
So move, Mr. President, to override the veto on resolution 21-0002.
Got a motion by Councilman Garcia to override resolution 21-0002. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilwoman Gonzalez. Any questions on the motion? Councilwoman Orange.
Yes, I want this read into the record, please.
What is it?
I want this resolution read into the public.
Oh, okay. Vivian, can you please read the resolution into the record?
Okay, let me locate it.
Mr. President, if she can't find it, I got it.
Okay. Resolution 21-0002, sponsored Emiliano Perez. A resolution of censure of Councilwoman Gilda Orange. Resolution number 21-002, expressing disapproval of Councilmember Gilda Orange recent comments and setting forth the high value of East Chicago Common Council places on civil public discourse. Whereas East Chicago Municipal Code 30.05 states that the general rules of the parliamentary law, as defined by Robert Rules of Order Revised, shall be considered the rules of the Common Council unless they conflict with any of the special rules prescribed by Chapter 30 of the East Chicago Municipal Code. Whereas Robert Rules of Order Revised allows the Common Council to reprimand a council member with the hopes of reforming his or her conduct. Whereas East Chicago Municipal Code 30.20 states that council members shall avoid personality. Whereas it is a core value of the Common Council that all citizens, visitors, council members, city staff, and others who come in contact with members of the Common Council be treated with the utmost respect and integrity. Whereas the elected leaders of the city, and including specifically through the leadership of the Common Council, must set the example and tone for demonstrating respect and integrity. Whereas it is the Common Council's expectation that Common Council members will consistently behave in a professional manner, show deference to those who disagree, and encourage public dialogue. Whereas on February 8, 2021, Councilmember Gilda Orange made threatening comments which violated the values of the Common Council and mentioned the religious belief of Councilmember Emiliano Perez, and which demonstrated a lack of judgment and professionalism. Whereas on February 22nd, 2021, Councilmember openly admitted to making such comments during the Common Council, finds that it is necessary to reinforce that this type of behavior is not tolerated by its members. Whereas by this resolution, the Common Council desires to address Councilmember Gilda Orange's comments and reinforce our commitment to civil discourse. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Common Council of the City of East Chicago, Lake County, Indiana, as follows. Section 1, the above stated recitals are incorporated herein by reference. Section 2, the Common Council of the City of East Chicago hereby affirms its commitment to ensuring that all council members are treated with respect and integrity, and a civil public dialogue is encouraged. The Common Council further calls on Councilmember Gilda Orange to reaffirm her commitment to a culture of inclusion through positive example. Section 3, this resolution shall be in full force and effect immediately after its passage and approval.
Thank you very much. Councilman Hill.
You know, I got some reservations on this because I think everybody should have been censored. Because as you know, last week, we had a statement being made towards a candidate, and that was been censored. If everybody had been censored, I bet that statement wouldn't have been made. Now, that kind of statement may cause a lawsuit against this council or against that individual for making that statement towards that attorney who was a candidate. And I thought that was unfair. Like, I think this is unfair to just single out Ms. Orange for that. I know she might have done something, but then again, everybody should be included in this. That's all I got to say.
Thank you. Anybody else have any questions on the motion? Councilwoman Orange.
Okay, and as he was saying on this, and this reason I'm just wondering if you guys are picking and choosing here. On the last public meeting, Councilman Monroe said about a candidate that we were interviewing, and he said that, so now we're going to hire a crook. Now, whether he thought that or not, that was our choice to interview people. It could cause it to be, for us to be sued, and not the council president or the council vice president has brought it up or said anything about it. And so I'm wondering if you're picking and choosing who you censor by who you like or what, because that was not in the interview process where we were trying to pick an attorney to say that, and nothing has been said on this council floor.
Any other questions on the motion?
Mr. President, may I speak on that?
Yes, sir, Mr. Monroe.
Upon that question, I did really not know that my mic was on, so that was personal. But with you, Ms. Orange, they gave you a chance to apologize and you didn't. I won't apologize if that's what I said, and I really don't know if I said it. But what you're going through is something that you admit, okay? So I thought my mic was off. I can say what I want when it was off, but it wasn't. Assume it wasn't. And I really don't remember saying it. But you remember saying everything that you done. So what's the difference?
Thank you, Ms. Monroe. Any other questions on the motion? Hearing none, roll call. I'm sorry, Councilman Franciski?
It's all said and done, respect each other. This doesn't make the council look good at all because we cannot get along. I mean, come on, we're all grown people, and I just hope that, you know, it just, things change, you know, that's all, that's all.
Thank you, Councilman Franciski. Councilman Garcia?
Yeah, I just want to reiterate what Councilman Franciski said. It needs to be a respect on this council, because that same thing happened to me on this council floor, but it needs to be some respect.
That's it? Thank you. Any other questions on the motion? Roll call. Ms. Winfield?
I would just like to say also that the censor needs to go all the way across the board. We're here to serve our community, but we have to show unity in our council. So it needs to be for everyone. Sometimes things slip, it may slip, but everyone actually needs to have that. Censorship needs to be for everyone. Because you never know when someone might say something, and it's only fair that everyone should be censored on what you're saying.
Thank you, Ms. Winfield. Any other questions on the motion? Hearing none, roll call.
Gonzalez,
Yes.
Franciski,
No.
Hill,
No.
Winfield,
Yes.
Garcia,
Yes.
Orange,
Absolutely not.
Ransomberg,
Yes.
Monroe,
Yes.
Perez.
Yes. Any old business? Any new business?
Mr. President,
Yes, Mr. Garcia.
I'd like to make a motion that we set up a committee for the American Rescue Act. That's $33.3 million that's coming to the city, and I think this council needs to be involved in it, also with the mayor.
My impression is we have a finance committee, and that's probably who should be involved with that, unless the council's desire is different.
Just something, to piggyback on that, are, Mr. Don, any rules on that money? And if they are, can you give each council member a handout on that?
Okay, so the U.S. Congress passed a 750-page bill, and amazingly, it does not have a lot of detail in it. It takes a lot of words to pass a $1.9 trillion bill. We are awaiting guidance. I will provide to each council person exactly what I have so far. The state sent out 2 documents on Friday afternoon, which the mayor referred to in his letter. They're still a little scant on details. That's not the mayor's fault, that's the state's fault, because they don't know yet either. It's entirely possible that we'll be learning over the next couple months as to when the money's coming, how it's getting deposited, whether it goes through the state or comes directly to the city, whether it's all of it or 50% of it, because there's some that are suggesting we only get half this year, and how it can be used, what are the eligible expenses. And I'll provide you exactly what I have at each of those stages when we get those documents.
Mr. President, and the reason I ask that is that if we had these meetings so we could direct them accordingly, so we know what the money can be spent on and what it cannot be spent on.
There will be a large amount of subjectivity in the answer to that question, Councilman Garcia. Last year, a much smaller amount of money, just $1 million, had quite a bit of subjectivity, and it was entirely COVID-related. This bill will allow transformational type investments and capital investments like sewer and water and broadband that were not allowed last year.
Do you know how much we spent last year on the COVID money?
Well, here's what I can tell you. The COVID money that was distributed last year was distributed directly to the administration. You did not have the authority by way of the state to appropriate it or to set up the fund. The rules were totally different. The administration did spend, I think, $907,000, which was the entire amount that was distributed to East Chicago, and the fund was zeroed out. So all the money came, all the money was spent, there was due diligence. For the most part, every one of my clients was able to spend about half the money on COVID-related expenses, and then, no fault of any client or any municipality, the state changed the rules midway, and they demanded that the fund be closed out and police or fire salaries be used as expense reimbursement, previously budgeted line items, which we're not normally allowed to do. And I think they just wanted to close the program out and get it closed by the end of the year. So what really was the beneficiary was your general fund. Your general fund received, I'm only guessing, probably $450,000 in additional reserves that would have normally been spent on police and fire, but instead those salaries were likely covered out of the COVID fund. But I don't know that for sure. I just know that's how it worked in many cases.
Can you ask the controller what that money was spent on?
I can ask for more detail on that fund, yes.
And can you also explain that other clause that you expressed to me, if they could come down a year or 2 years from now and say, well, we didn't want you to spend that money on this project?
The federal government has clawback provision. They can take the dollars back if they feel that they were spent on the wrong ineligible expenses. The dollars have to be spent by the end of 2024. If they're not, they'll be taken back. There's others, but we'll...
Yeah, you can add that in that documentation, that clawbacks.
We'll do it.
That's all.
Okay, public expression. Oh, I'm sorry, Councilwoman Orange.
I have two things. The first one, I would just like to congratulate Damian Jefferson from Central High School, and also Tennille Adams, who is a coach at Wright State. She is both of them have advanced to the Sweet 16 in their division, so thumbs up to both of them from Central High School. My second thing is the Zoom account. Okay, I know that we're using right now Councilman Robert Garcia's Zoom account. I believe that we should have a council Zoom account. That way nobody has the control over it. It'll be the councils, and I guess it would be the council president. That would be, but I don't know if we're paying for Councilman Garcia's Zoom account, because I know we had talked about that earlier, that we would be paying you back for your Zoom. And also, because I've had people to say they couldn't get in, the last meeting that we had was not recorded, and I just think that it should be set up to be a council Zoom account instead of a personal Zoom account.
I wouldn't necessarily disagree with the councilwoman, except who would operate and let people in when we're up here. We don't have a secretary, we don't have anybody. I mean, we do have Elida, I'm sorry, but what happens when she's not here?
Ryan usually does.
Ryan, aren't you letting them in now?
All right, Lomax Multimedia, yes, we are letting everybody in, as I've stated previously, and I thought the last meeting was recorded, because I made sure that...
We had a special...
The special one? No, okay, yeah. The special one was not, because we were under assumption that we weren't going to film that one, so, yeah.
Okay. Well, whatever this council's desire is. Councilman Garcia?
Yeah, Mr. President, I ain't got no control of who gets in and gets out. That's to Mr. Ryan. Ryan's been letting everybody in, and I ain't got no control of nothing, Mr. President.
I personally think that with Councilman Garcia, I haven't seen a problem. I don't know that there is. But again, it's whatever the council wishes. Councilman Hill.
This is not about Zoom. Are you all going to televise us again, or what's going on with that?
You're being, all the meetings are already up.
This all one lately?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Councilwoman Orange.
I'm making a motion that we have a council Zoom account, and that it's not anybody's personal Zoom account.
There's a motion on the floor to open up a council Zoom account.
Second.
Seconded, it was motion made by Councilwoman Orange, seconded by Councilman Hill. Any questions on the motion?
Yes, Mr. President.
Yes, Ms. Stacy Winfield.
Is Mr. Councilman Garcia, are you being charged for these meetings?
Yeah, I had no problem paying for it, Councilwoman Winfield.
Okay. That's not fair, though. It's really not fair.
I got I have other meetings, so it was not a extra cost to me. So I do have other meetings, so
Okay.
Councilman Hill.
So are you saying you're not going to put in for reimbursement?
No.
Oh, we good then.
Any other questions?
Mr. President?
Yes, sir.
If he's not charging us, what's the problem with being petty now? And I know my mic is on.
Thank you. Any other questions? I just would like to say the same thing. I think that we've had difficulties whenever we've had to just either schedule meetings or Zoom, and Robert hasn't been around. I support the way it is. It ain't broke. So I'm not looking to fix it, but it will go up for a vote now. So with no other questions, roll call.
Gonzalez,
Yes.
Franciski,
Yes.
Hill,
I guess since he's not going to charge us for reimbursement, yes.
Winfield,
Yes.
Garcia,
Yes.
Orange,
Yes, this is to
Right.
Councilwoman.
This is to have just so everyone's clear, this motion is for the council to open its own Zoom. Councilman Garcia.
I think she's
I didn't hear Councilwoman's
Excuse
Orange
me?
vote.
Yes.
No, go ahead, finish the vote.
Ransom,
And just so we clear, it's to open its own Zoom, so it's to change it from its current way of doing it. Is that correct?
No, the motion is for the city council to run its own Zoom. Instead of Councilman Garcia does all the Zoom for us. He has since the very beginning. We want to change it now to make it the council's. So I suppose it would be Elida that would run the Zoom.
Mr. President,
Yes, sir.
I don't know if everybody understood, maybe you need to do your count all over, because I was under understanding that it wasn't broke, we was gonna keep it the same since there was no charge.
Mr. Mendel, there seems to be some misunderstanding. Can we start the vote over? Yes, we can. Okay, let me be clear. The motion is by Councilwoman Orange, seconded by Councilman Hill, that the East Chicago City Council run its own Zoom account. It doesn't detail who's going to do it physically, just that we have our own account. So that's the vote.
Okay, so it doesn't mean who's gonna run the Zoom, am I correct? We just gonna have our own.
That is correct. I would assume that it would be Elida as our secretary.
So would you direct that, as far as messages getting out on Zoom or what? From the council?
That's a good question, Elida. Is that something, first of all, is it something you're comfortable doing?
Elio Ochoa, Council Secretary. To be honest with you, no. I am not computer savvy. That is not my forte.
Councilman Garcia.
Mr. President, in that last litigation we had with the mayor, in two of those ordinances, the court came back and said we cannot tell the mayor what workers they have to work. It's like if we can say, okay, Ryan's got to do it. We can't tell Ryan to do it. That's out of our purview, okay? And what the court said was that. The only other person that leaves is Elian. But I hate to, that, okay, the mayor gets to pick and choose what he wants to do with this council or not. I have no problem continue doing it. I don't control anything about who gets on or don't get on, so that's what I got to say.
Councilwoman Orange.
And Councilman Garcia, if you feel comfortable still doing it, that's fine, but it still should be under a council account. When we do our budget, it should be coming out of the council's budget. It should not be coming out of your budget or doing it on a separate account. It should be a council Zoom. Now, if you want to do it, or council president wants you to do it, I have no problem with that. But it should be under the council Zoom. If something happens to you, God forbid, or you, I better not say that because I get censored. But if you're not there to set it up, somebody else has to be able to take the brains to be able to set it up. So it should be the council. They would pay for it, and then if you want to set it up to do it, I have no problem with you doing that, but it should come through the council.
Just, we've been lucky enough that Ryan's been here to get us through this, because I cannot monitor it and let people on, and I thank you, Ryan, for your hard work and continue hard work, and he's been doing an excellent job.
Councilwoman Gonzalez?
I agree with Councilwoman Orange. I think we should have our own account, only because it is strictly for council business. If there's recordings, we could all go on there and look at the recordings. I think it should be separate. I think it just should be council, and that would be it.
Councilman Hill?
Yeah, one thing I can say, Robert has been good with this, because I had problems with it, and I can text him or call him, he would call me right back and do what it takes for me to get on. So I appreciate that. He's been doing good.
Anybody else have any questions on the motion? Councilman Garcia?
Yeah, just to inform everybody, like after this meeting here, Steve Segura gets on, he downloaded it, it's on the hard drive. So once the meeting's over, it's on the hard drive. So Steve Segura gets on it, and then he goes and puts it on TV, or they edit it over there in multimedia, but as soon as after the meeting, it's downloaded, correct, Ryan?
Ryan Lomax, Multimedia again. Yes, and Steve isn't, because Steve isn't the one. He can log in to grab them like off of the cloud, but I have them set to physically download to the computer here. So I'm the one that retrieves them every morning the next day prior to.
Thank you. Continue.
Any other questions on this motion? Okay, being none, roll call.
I'm sorry,
Go ahead, Mr. Ransford.
okay, my question is, again, I agree. Is it possible that we can have our own account and Councilman Garcia still be in charge of getting everything out? Can that be added to the motion?
If you'd like to make an amendment to the motion that Councilman Garcia would be assigned to it, I have absolutely no problem with that. I think that we can do that.
Yes, that's what I would like to do.
Okay, so we have a motion by Councilman Ransford to amend, seconded by Councilman Monroe, that Councilman Garcia would manage and administer the council's Zoom. So, question on the motion, Ms. Orange.
Are you agreeing to that?
Yes.
Council? Okay, because, I mean, to tell you that you got to do it is.
We're asking you.
Mr. Hill?
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask.
Okay. Any other questions on the motion? Okay, so we are taking a vote on the amendment to add Mr. Garcia as the administrator for should the council's Zoom account pass. Okay, so, hearing no other questions, roll call.
Gonzalez,
Yes.
Franciski,
Yes.
Hill,
Yes.
Hill,
Yes. Yes.
Winfield,
Yes.
Garcia,
Yes.
Orange,
Yes.
Ransford,
Yes.
Monroe,
Yes.
Perez.
Yes. Now, do I have a motion to pass Councilwoman Orange's initial ordinance that the council get its own Zoom with the amendment that Councilman Garcia would administer it? Moved by Councilwoman Orange,
Second.
seconded by Councilman Hill. Any questions on this motion? Being none, roll call.
Gonzalez,
Yes.
Franciski,
Yes.
Hill,
Yes.
Winfield,
Yes.
Garcia,
Yes.
Orange,
Yes.
Orange,
Yes.
She said yes.
Yes.
Monroe,
Yes.
Perez.
Yes. Okay, public expression. We have none. Do I have a motion to adjourn? Moved by Councilman Garcia,
Second.
seconded by Councilman Hill. Any questions on the motion? Hearing none, roll call.
Gonzalez,
Yes.
Franciski,
Yes.
Hill,
Yes.
Hill,
Yes.
Winfield,
Yes.
Garcia,
Yes.
Orange,
Yes.
Rancifer,
Yes.
Monroe,
Yes.
Perez.
Yes. Meeting adjourned.